There is the man. What up, Denton? We are so happy to see you, sir. Denton County Mr. Beto Award! I am Delia Parker Mims, chair of the Denton County Democratic Party, and we are so happy to see you, sir. We have been working very hard for you. I would like to introduce a few distinguished guests here, if I may. We have some candidates running for office, and you know how hard it is to run for office in Denton County. So let's give a round of applause for our candidates. Diana Wiesel running for county commissioner. Olivia Jeffers running for JP and Denton. Do we have any precinct chairs in the house? You have been working hard. What about any block walkers and volunteers? Denton County registered more people than any other county. Thank you, volunteers! And of course, we have some elected officials here, our bad girl of city council politics, Miss Allison McGuire. We have Mr. Brian Beck, City Council. Brandon Jones, City Council. And Brandon McGee, City Council. Anyone else? Okay. We're just pointing. Ladies, are you ready for Rovember? And I love seeing my young folks out here. Make sure you get your friends to go to the ballots. I'm going to hand this off.
Hello, everybody. What brings you out tonight? So, all right. So before Beto comes up, I have two jobs. One is to remind you all to get out. If you haven't voted already, go vote. If you have voted, then use the 33339 to get other people to vote. Go knock on doors. Beto needs your help today. He needs your help for the next couple of days to get him over the top. So are you guys down for that? Okay, so without further ado, my name is Brandon Jones. I'm the Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Louisville. I am here today to introduce your council member, Brandon Chase McGee, for Place 5. Come on up, Brandon.
Hello, Denton, Texas. I am Brandon Chase McGee. I am proud to be your elected representative for the whole entire city of Denton. Welcome to Denton. I want to start off very quickly and let you know that in addition to Beto and all the other amazing candidates on the ballot, those of you that live in South Denton, there is a recall election going on. Please go do your research about that recall election. I will also let you know that you have some amazing people on Denton City Council working for you. Miss Vicky Bird, is she here? Oh, she's not here, all right. So we have an amazing Mayor Pro Tem, Dr. Brian Beck. And if I may, the most courageous person on Denton City Council is Miss Allison McGuire. So I am thankful that the past several months I have been a campaign surrogate for Beto Work. I've traveled all over the Metroplex, and I can tell you the energy is there. All we've got to do is we've got to drive them to the polls. Today I spent my entire afternoon along with my 13-year-old daughter knocking on doors. Whether you have 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, it can work. We had so many amazing conversations with folks in Denton County who are just as excited as we are to make Beto O'Rourke the next governor of Texas. But very quickly, before I bring Beto up, I want to tell you why I am supporting Beto O'Rourke. As a former city council member and a former congressman, Beto has been doing the work since before he was elected. And he's been doing the work for us for a very long time, before we here in Denton County even knew his name. Beto has an amazing family with 3 children and an amazing wife that he doesn't see very often, because he's barnstorming this state. He's gone to every part of this state, all 254 counties, to bring a message of hope, to bring a message of unity, because we know that when Democrats are elected, we will govern with compassion and empathy. I want Beto to win for Beto's family, for the staff who's knocked on thousands of doors and made hundreds of thousands of phone calls. I want Beto to win for every volunteer across this state. I want Beto to win for Texas. So without further ado, I turn this over to my friend, the next governor of the state of Texas, Mr. Beto O'Rourke.
All right, Denton, how we doing? All right. I feel the same way right now. Just look at everybody who's out on this Sunday evening in this beautiful city under this gorgeous sky. These clouds were lit up pink as we were coming in. The moon is just on the rise right now. This is the last Sunday of our lives before the most important Tuesday of our lives. Am I right? We are going to decide every position of public trust that matters to us at the city level, at the state level, state representatives, state senators, justices of the peace, county commissioners, county judges, all the way up to governor, the highest position of public trust in the land. But it's more than that. It is the future, the fate and the fortune of the state of Texas. And I would argue, given our outsized role in this country, it is the future of the United States of America as well that's going to be decided on Tuesday. So no pressure, people, but we got to come through. Think about those who are dependent on us right now and don't get a vote or a voice in this election, but through the actions that we take and the commitments that we make right now. So seeing this little guy as I was walking in, or others of you who've got toddlers on your shoulders or kids at your knee, they're counting on us right now, right? And many of them are well aware of where we are right now. And they'll buy the argument until Tuesday that this is on Greg Abbott, right? That we lead the nation in the number of school shootings. That's a dubious distinction that we take home to our kids every single day. Gun violence, the leading cause of death for children, for teenagers, for kids, for little people in this state right now. A grid that was so badly broken in February of 21 that 700 of our fellow Texans died. A grid that is no better prepared going into this next winter should the temperature drop in the energy capital of the world. Our school teachers who sacrificed the best years of their lives for our children, for the future of this state, so badly paid they're working 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet. They are told they cannot tell the true story or history or set of facts about who we are and how we got here and where we will be able to go from here. And they're being asked to turn in the parents of transgender children so that they can be accused of child abuse, and those kids taken from that loving home and turned over where? To Child Protective Services, the worst run foster care program in the United States of America, bar none. One that has lost the lives of 100 children in its custody and care just since the year of our Lord, 2020. The most extreme abortion ban anywhere in America. It begins at conception. There's no exception for rape. There's no exception for incest. And effectively and functionally, and I know this from having listened to you, there is no exception for the life of the woman or the mother involved. It happens at the epicenter of an epidemic of maternal mortality that is 3 times as deadly for black women. And then at the center of all of this is a democracy that is under greater attack here than it is anywhere in the Union tonight. Harder to cast your ballot in Texas, harder to register to vote, have your name on the rolls in our state than in any of the other 49. So our kids are aware of this now, or they will be soon. And they'll buy my argument today that this is on Greg Abbott. This guy's had 8 years to fix these problems, and in every single instance, he's only made it worse. But here's the catch. And he's gotten paid for it too, that's right. Here's the catch on that argument, though. Come November 9th, we own this outcome, right? In a government of, by, and for the people. As badly damaged as this democracy is in the state of Texas, it still, by and large, más o menos works. It is still dependent on all of us doing all we can with what we have, where we are, right here tonight, to bring every single voter, every friend, every family member, every neighbor, every classmate, every colleague, every follow on social media out to vote in the most important election of our lives, because the lives in our lives are literally on the line right now. And we cannot be found wanting. We cannot explain this one to our kids on the 9th, but hey, we tried. We got close. I tweeted some stuff. I hoped and I prayed. I really wished for it to happen, but looks like we just weren't lucky this time. Think about what the consequence of this election is going to be, not on those of us who've already lived some of the best years of our lives. I just turned 50 in September. It's all downhill from here, you know? But for my kids who are 15, 14, 12 years old, their best days are ahead. I want them to be able to live those days here in Texas. I want my daughter to make her own decisions about her own body and her own future and her own health care in this state. I want my kids to know that we put their lives ahead of the interests of the NRA or the gun lobby or anybody else for that matter. I want their teachers to know that we're going to pay them enough so they don't have to work that second or third job. And you know what? They answered this call to teach. They took on tens of thousands of dollars in student loan debt for the privilege. They are so disrespected in those classrooms as they try to keep those kids literally alive after 2 years of pandemic, 2 years of learning loss, 2 years of trauma that us old folks can only begin to imagine. Let's make sure that they get more of that valuable classroom time back. We will cancel the STAR test in the state of Texas and make sure that they can focus on those kids. I want my kids to grow up in a state that truly values our freedoms and our lives in the most incarcerated country on the planet. Let that sink in. Whatever you want to say about China and Russia and North Korea and Iran, and I know there's a lot that we could say right now, but look, we put more of our own people behind bars than any of those countries do of theirs. And in the most incarcerated country, we are the most incarcerated state in the union. Those serving time, disproportionately black and brown, so often doing so for possession of a substance that is legal in most of the rest of the developed world right now. So we're going to do this. We're going to make marijuana legal in the state of Texas going forward. And given that Texans of all races and ethnicities use the stuff at the same rate, and judging by your response, that is a lot. But we know more likely than not, if you are black or brown, you are far more likely to be stopped, to be frisked, to be arrested, to be incarcerated, to upon release be forced to check a box on every employment application form saying that you have that conviction, every student loan application form saying you have that conviction. Your options, your opportunities constrained and narrowed in your life for no good reason at all. Therefore, we must also expunge the arrest records and the convictions of those who have served time for marijuana possession in this state. For those who are struggling to get by, who work as hard as you possibly can, maybe at more than one job, I want you to know this. The minimum wage in this state has been at $7.25 an hour for 13 years. Just think out how much prices and costs have gone up in just this year. Under Greg Abbott, property taxes up $20 billion over the last 8 years. The genius who couldn't keep the lights on has sent our utility bills up $45 per ratepayer on average across this state. The minimum wage, still $7.25 an hour. At a minimum, we must get it up to $15 an hour just to begin. We must make it easier for our fellow Texans to join unions in this state, to be able to organize, use their leverage to get better wages, better working conditions, better safety for themselves and for the public at large. And then listen, I don't think this is asking too much, that we be well enough and healthy enough to go to that job or start that business or finish our education, raise our kid, start a punk rock band and tour the country. Whatever it is that you've set your heart to, I just want you to be okay enough to get that done. But today, under Greg Abbott, we are the least insured state in America. That means that in this state, Texas, big, bold, beautiful Texas, 9th largest economy in the planet today, $2 trillion GDP. We have more kids dying of diabetes, a totally preventable death, than anywhere else in America. Our largest provider of mental health care services, the county jail system today. That means those with untreated schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, clinical depression, all too often get asked or ask themselves to be arrested to go to the one place where they're guaranteed any kind of care whatsoever, no matter how insufficient or immoral that would be. And you know what? It doesn't come cheap. It's $120 a night on average to keep someone locked up who, for pennies on those dollars, could be given consistent, proactive, preventable care, treatment in a clinic if we would just take yes for an answer on expanding Medicaid in the state of Texas. That brings in $10 billion a year of our own federal income taxes that we've already paid up to D.C., right back to the state. It starts to create 300,000 jobs a year. And the kicker, it lowers our property taxes because it reduces the burden on you to pay for uncompensated indigent care at our county hospitals. And this last one right here. The council member said we've been to every part of the state, every single county. And that's true. You cannot be too rural or too red, too big, too blue for us to show up. We're not going to write anybody off. We're not going to take anybody for granted. But I'll tell you what, the other side sure as hell is. When I go to these rural, red, Republican-represented counties across the state of Texas, they haven't seen Governor Abbott in years, sometimes in literally forever. In most of these counties, at least half the population cannot use the internet. In the year of our Lord, 2022, try finding a job, finishing your education, starting a business, getting what you grow to market if you can't get online. If you're single and lonely, try finding a date if you can't use the internet in 2022. Their roads are damaged. Their water systems are not working. Their public hospitals have closed down, 16 of them over the last 8 years. When we show up in these communities and I describe the agenda to them that I just described to you, word for word, heads are nodding. And they're not all Democrats in those crowds. They're independents. They're Republicans as well. They're folks who've never voted a day in their lives because they didn't think that it mattered. But when we show up and talk about our common interests, world-class public schools, the ability to see a doctor, take your child to a therapist, or fill a prescription, investment in infrastructure like broadband, so the best jobs in America are found right here in Texas, in every single part of Texas. And then this one. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise, that we're somehow divided on this issue based on religion or party affiliation or anything else. When I talk about a woman's ability to make her own decisions about her own body, everybody in every part of the state gets that that's important. And then we got to defend those protections. And they know the attacks that are coming our way if we don't change course right now. Clarence Thomas gave us a vision into the future in Texas if Greg Abbott is elected, because in that Dobbs decision that overturned Roe versus Wade and gave the green light to Greg Abbott to sign that most restrictive abortion ban into law, he also warned us that next on the chopping block is the right to contraception. Next on the chopping block is same-sex intimacy, which means a revival of the sodomy laws in the state of Texas. Next on the chopping block is marriage equality. But you know what? That's right. But when we vote him out, we're going to have the backs of every single Texan. Regardless of the differences between us, you will be treated equally under the law in our Texas, right? We're going to get this done. This is part of the fear and the hatred that we're talking about right now. You have somebody who wants you to be scared of transgender Texans right now, to distract from the issues that we really care about, like making sure that the grid works, that jobs pay enough not to work 2 or 3, that people can afford to see a doctor, and that women have full bodily autonomy. They will disrupt us because they are scared of us. They will disrupt us because they know they are going to lose. So this is what we're going to be able to do together when we win. And we are so close. We're so close in the number of hours between now and 7 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, which is when polls close in El Paso, Texas on Tuesday. So close in the number of doors that we have knocked on so far, closing in on 5 million doors knocked in this campaign. Tens of millions of phone calls made, all the texts in the world. I apologize for all those texts you're getting, by the way. They'll stop 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Tuesday. But there's one more thing we got to do. Look, we have rightly been focused on those that we don't know, knocking on the doors of voters who might vote our way but need a little nudge or a conversation or a knock on the door to make sure that we get them to the polls. And I'm grateful for that. But here's another group of people that I'm going to ask you right now to help me get in touch with. Those are our friends and family members, our neighbors, our classmates, the people in our lives. Sometimes we take for granted that they're just as invested in this as we are. They've already voted in early voting, or they're planning to vote on Tuesday. Sometimes life gets in the way and people forget to do the right thing, or they weren't paying attention to begin with and they didn't even know. As Brandon mentioned earlier, there is an app called Reach. And when you download that app and you sign up for the 2 Million Texans program within Reach, we got you right here. This is amazing. Instead of just blindly blasting out a text message to all your contacts saying, hey, don't forget to vote on Tuesday, and there's just no passion, there's no soul, there's no heart in that, this app will tell you which of your friends and contacts and family members have already voted, put them to the side, and which are registered to vote and have yet to cast their ballot. It then allows you to send a personalized, individual text to every one of those contacts that you've got on your phone to remind them to vote and to even tell them where their nearest polling location is in Denton County. The way to get this is to text the word REACH, spelled R-E-A-C-H, to 33339. So REACH to 33339. When you download that app, you'll be asked to join the 2 Million Texans campaign. And when you join the 2 Million Texans campaign, the rest will follow. You'll be able to follow the instructions there. You all with me on that? Last thing. If you will do that, and for those of you who are signed up to knock on doors with our volunteers in these highly reflective yellow vests over the next 48 hours, if we will do that, we will get in touch with the people who were themselves the targets of voter suppression and voter intimidation, the very people who were drawn out from this democracy and disenfranchised by this governor. And it will be some pretty powerful, profound, poetic political justice when those who were drawn out are brought in by all of us and form the margin of victory when we win this on Tuesday night. You all with me? You ready to win? Ready to do the work? Let's go win this election. Let's do this, Denton. Les agradezco. Thank you all very much.
All right, y'all. We are going to do pictures right over here to Beto's left. If you are parked directly across the street, you are about to get towed. So please go check